Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 16, our mid-August edition of Stellavision, Stella Rising's weekly marketing update. I am Marlia Clark, CMO. Thanks so much, as always, for joining us. I have to say, if you hear excitement in my voice, all of us at Stella are buzzing a little bit this week, as our retail team has won a Glossy Award for Best Multi-Platform Category Campaign just yesterday. And today we woke up to the amazing news of getting 9 nominations at the US Search Awards, including SEO Agency of the Year. So I just really want to recognize our amazing team. I feel like, especially in these challenging times, it's great to see good news and celebrate everyone who makes such a great effort to do such great work. And that really brings me to one of my very favorite teammates and favorite people, Rina Yashayeva, who's with us today. She's our VP of Amazon Strategy. Rina, as many of you know, is just incredibly knowledgeable across marketplaces, but has such deep experience and insider insights on Amazon, which she helps our clients with every day. Today, Rina is going to address all things Prime Day 2020, including her prediction of when it will actually take place. As we all know, Prime Day is going to kick off holiday shopping and offer a major opportunity for brands this wild year of 2020 more than ever. As always, please submit questions as we go in the panel. Rina will answer as many as she's able to, but always feel free to follow up with either one of us if you have any questions that go unanswered. Right now, Rina, let's get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marlia, and happy Friday, everyone. Excited to see some familiar names and welcoming anyone who's new to Stellavision. I'm particularly excited to join Stellavision this week to discuss a hot topic over the past few months, the highly anticipated Amazon Prime Day. Today, we'll discuss what it is, how it's changing for this year, and what we can do to drive success for this brand, for your brand. So we have a jam-packed agenda, as you guys can see. We'll start with some history and data. We'll go into details of what we can do to succeed. And like Marlia said, we will end with some predictions. So let's begin with some history. What exactly is Prime Day besides the day that we just buy a bunch of random stuff that we don't need just because it's on sale, because it is that as well. So it started off as a one-day sale in 2015 to celebrate Amazon's 20th anniversary and drive sales mid-year. Some have called it Black Friday in July. And then from there, it just expanded and began to increase its magnitude every single year, and an increase in duration as well. So in 2017, it increased to 30 hours, and then the next year, 36 hours. And finally, last year, it was 2 whole days lasting 48 hours straight. Last year, they did it really big. There was even a Prime Day concert featuring Taylor Swift and Dua Lipa. So they made it, super, super prominent. And then, of course, we have what happens this year. So every year, Prime Day really has one thing in common with the years prior. Amazon reports that it is surpassing Black Friday and Cyber Monday the previous year, which is really a bold statement. So we can say that the stakes are pretty high. So 2020 was the first year that Prime Day did not happen on time, obviously because of COVID-19, which also made it the first year in 5 years that I got enough sleep during July week 2. So certainly a very weird time to be experiencing July week 2 without Prime Day. So Amazon made the decision to postpone Prime Day due to COVID because Amazon's FCs were dedicated to prioritizing essential items. So they were so focused on making sure that they're supplying everything they needed to for their sellers and vendors through COVID, that the priority was just not Prime Day at the time. So then the rumors began circling. It started moving to August, and then September, and then finally October. So Amazon themselves has not actually announced October as the date, but all reputable third-party sources are confirming that it is October. So I'll be the first to admit that I wouldn't have actually been surprised if they canceled it completely altogether, just because now it was entering Q4 territory. However, after several conversations with Amazon directly, I can confirm that Prime Day is indeed happening, and I do feel fairly confident that it will be held in early October this year. So coming from Amazon, I'll let the data speak for itself. They're usually tight-lipped about the data that they share, but they boastfully share some of the highlights when it comes to Prime Day. So it was the largest shopping event in all of Amazon history. Last year, there were over 1 million deals exclusively for Prime members. And some highlights from last year, there were 18 countries that participated, double the number from the first Prime Day 5 years ago. Globally, small and medium-sized businesses exceeded $2 billion in sales, which is huge. Some things that people purchased last year were, of course, Amazon's own products, the Echo and the Fire Stick. One of Amazon's agendas is definitely to push their own products during Prime Day. And then, of course, another key goal of theirs is to drive Prime member signups, so which was clearly working because last year Amazon welcomed more Prime Day signups on July 15th than any other day because they were really pushing that during Prime Day. So now that we have the background, let's move into some strategy. Amazon uses a three-step approach for Prime Day, including a lead up strategy, obviously Prime Day, and then a lead out strategy. The lead up to Prime Day essentially begins now. Right now, today, we can consider this like the official kickoff. This is a time for brands to prepare their pages for success, what Amazon calls retail readiness, and to build brand awareness for their brands by driving traffic to their ASINs. This is the time to focus on content and solidify a very strong search advertising campaign. In a few weeks, Amazon will hopefully announce the official date. And then a week or so before the actual day, they will begin generating hype by announcing certain deals to go live. So Amazon themselves has a phased approach as well. They have their pre-Prime Day deals that start going live before Prime Day to start generating that hype and that buzz before they kick it off to Prime Day. So during this time, we're really going to focus on, getting our brand out there, getting our name out there, and beginning to prepare like a slow ramp up for actual Prime Day. So the second phase is Prime Day itself, the 24 to 48 hours during which Amazon will heavily push featured deals and promotions. They're of course going to heavily push their own products, but select vendors will also get the opportunity to participate depending on how big the brand is, their relationship with Amazon. During this time, we're going to focus on converting the consumer through offering a promotion and driving traffic to that promotion through advertising. As soon as Prime Day is over, we move immediately into the lead out time period, which can be 2 weeks or can honestly be more. So it can last all the way through the end of the month, otherwise known as a halo effect. The halo effect does last for a pretty long time after Prime Day. And we want to make sure that we capture and take advantage of that halo effect as much as we can by re-engaging with the consumer post Prime Day. So anybody that did not actually purchase what they were looking at, we want to re-engage them. So this is when, we'll really start focusing on remarketing, which we'll talk about just a little bit. So rather than just a one-day, super simple Prime Day day, so it's really important to put together a strategic three-phase approach going into the big day. So a key part of the lead-up phase is retail readiness. This is a term coined by Amazon to suggest getting your products ready for advertising. It's important to remember that the customer's decision ultimately gets made at the point of detail page, so we want to make sure that your pages look their best to maximize conversion. Otherwise, we just risk spending money on an ad to generate clicks to lead to a page that doesn't look good, and it risks losing the consumer at that point. So it's recommended to allow at least 6 weeks to get retail ready. We are currently 7 weeks and 3 days, if we are thinking that the first weekend, the first Monday in October, away from the alleged date, but it's never too early to start. So on this list, we'll start with optimized listings. Copy optimization is super important for Amazon's organic algorithm. So you want to make sure that your title, which is your most important part of your page, includes your brand name, any key features, benefits, and any important callouts such as size or quantity. We recommend to maximize character count in your bullets. So for those of us in luxury beauty, you guys have 3 bullets to play around with. Everybody else has 5. And we can't forget your back-end keywords. So this is when you're adding in your additional keywords that don't show up on the front end, but you can put them in the back end in order to get the opportunity to organically search as well. So if you think there is opportunity to do your content optimization, this is the perfect time to do that because we do have 7 weeks to do so. Number 2 is images. We all know how important images are. 5 is the absolute minimum I would recommend, but we truly do recommend all 7. Video is very important to educate the consumer about your product, and I'm a huge fan of infographics. You guys know that. So if you don't have any right now, you have to start immediately designing infographics, just because this is just another way for you to stand out from your competition. Another part of retail readiness, ASINs are only considered retail ready when they do have 15 reviews at 3.5 stars or more. So keep this in mind when driving traffic. Keep this in mind when choosing the ASINs that you want to promote, because we want to make sure that the ASINs we do put on deal, they do have enough reviews, and we're driving to the ASINs that once again are going to help increase conversion. Lastly, all the way at the end, we have A+ content. So this is enhanced brand content. I have an example of one that we designed over on the left-hand side. This is essentially enhanced content that you can add to your page to add features and benefits, your own custom content to begin educating the consumer. We've seen this increase sales to 10%. So if you have a large catalog and you don't exactly know where to start, I would suggest prioritizing your key ASINs, whatever is driving 80% of your top line sales. So between now and then, only 6-7 weeks to go. Well, if you can build out A+ content for all 200 ASINs, definitely focus on that top 80% of top line sales. So a brand store is always important on Amazon, but it particularly gets its time to shine during Prime Day. So if you haven't refreshed your brand store in a while, open it up, give it a facelift. 3 main things to keep in mind for your store during Prime Day. Number 1 should definitely go without saying. This should, you should be doing this throughout non-Prime Day as well, linking your sponsored brand ad to the store. So this has been shown to increase ROAS by 23%. So we have an example right now of a Jane Iredale sponsored brand ad, and right underneath where it says their actual headline, which is clean skin loving makeup, it says shop Jane Iredale. So that link leads directly to the store, which you guys see an example of on the left-hand side, rather than just an ASIN dump. So your alternative is going to be I believe my Wi-Fi cut out, but I believe we are back on now. So going into sponsored brands and why it's important to link to the brand store, your alternative will be linking to an ASIN dump, which just is not as curated as your brand store. Another option of what you can do for that brand store is add another page. So update your taxonomy. By building a custom page, you now have the opportunity to create a page that is just featuring your ASINs for Prime Day. So unfortunately, you can't say the word Prime Day in the title or the word deal, but you can call it something like featured products, for example. If you are participating in one of Amazon's Prime Day deals, you can add a deals widget that will automatically populate when the deal goes live. But otherwise, we suggest adding a product grid, and it could be your entire catalog if that's what you're promoting. And lastly, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but if you do decide to drive traffic from your social media, a brand store is the best place to do that, because you can actually create a source tag, which is kind of like a UTM code, and then you can take that source tag and it'll allow you to track metrics such as visitors, page views, orders, and who's actually visiting from your social back to Amazon. Okay. So now that your pages and your stores have been set up for success, let's talk about the meat of Prime Day, and that is the promotional strategy. So depending on the size of your brand and the category, your relationship with Amazon, some brands will get the opportunity to participate in Amazon specific deals. This is a Prime Day promotion, a gold box deal, deal of the day, or a category-wide deal. For the rest of us, we're going to create our own destiny. We won't wait for Amazon to invite us. We're going to make our own seat at the table. So first, we'll determine the type of goal. Right? So what are we trying to get out of this? Of course, the obvious goal is always revenue. However, besides that, this is a great opportunity to move through excess inventory if you guys are sitting on some overstock inventory, or also promote new launches. So some options for deals are lightning deals. Lightning deals are something that Amazon does have to invite you to. So both vendors and sellers, you guys, the deadline has passed. So if you have done this, you probably did this about a month or two ago. It does show up as Amazon recommends a lightning deal. A lightning deal is for a short period of time, anywhere between 4 and 24 hours. Then we also have the option to do vendor power coupons. My personal favorite, you have an example of Olay on the right-hand side, where it has the orange. It's meant to look like a coupon where it says, say 15%, and then you clip it, and then it says, check will be applied at checkout. So I love coupons because you can actually set your own budget, which you cannot do with any other deal. So if I only want to spend $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 during Prime Day, that's what I can set my coupon to. A price discount is just an obvious, we are discounting from $100 to $85. However, the problem here is that there is no actual merchandising, just like there is on a coupon. So oftentimes the consumer does not know that there is a deal. Two other things that are options, not as strong, are a promo code. You can make a social media promo code, put it up on your social, and then only the people with that code can purchase. And lastly, you have the option for buy X, get Y. You can buy something, get X off of something else. Two things to keep in mind that even the products that you are not promoting have also seen an increase in the past. So there is that halo effect from the promoted to the non-promoted products. And just be sure that whatever you decide, so whatever discount you give, to make sure that it is the best discount of the year. Amazon was kind of hand slapped the very first year because they were accused of not having the best deals. People called it a garage sale, I believe the words were, that they just did not feel that the discounts were strong enough. So whatever you choose to promote, I would make Prime Day your biggest deal of the entire year. If you never go 30% off, go 30% off. If you never go 25, then make 25 your cap, but let Prime Day be your peak. And then we have inventory. So inventory is unbelievably important because if we don't have enough stock, we obviously cannot promote your product. So you want to make sure that you have enough stock to take you through lead up, Prime Day, and then lead out. So depending on if you're a vendor or a seller, your strategy will be vastly different. Sellers are more in control of their inventory. We recommend to send sufficient inventory at least 1 month before Prime Day to account for any shipping delays, receiving delays on Amazon's end. Of course, we all know there have been delays because of COVID. So we want to make sure that we really get ahead of that. But another thing to keep in mind is that Amazon actually implemented inventory thresholds in light of COVID-19 to ensure that they're making room for essential items. So for some brands and some products, they're only allowing 4 weeks of cover. So what we suggest that you do, it's going to be different for every brand. So check what your brand's quantity limits are. Amazon has restock report to see what you're allowed to put in and make sure you're sending in your max. And that might mean you just have to forecast more often to make sure you're getting through the lead up, Prime Day, and lead out. Vendors, on the other hand, will be a completely different story. So vendors are depending on Amazon to place orders. You really are at the mercy of your POs coming. So if Amazon sees a deal or coupon in the system, this will actually trigger the system to buy more. There is no human placing an order. It really is a machine that does this. So if this doesn't happen, and if Amazon does not place more orders, you do have the option, some brands, I should say, have the option to consider the Born to Run program. This is essentially a vendor-initiated PO, and you are telling Amazon what they should be buying. It sounds too good to be true, but there really is a caveat. The caveat is if you don't sell through, you will be penalized. Amazon will make you pay for every single return and then 10% on top of that for restocking. So you want to make sure that if you do this very carefully, and you are not over forecasting so Amazon doesn't risk having overstock. But I'm not too worried about this just because right after Prime Day, you'll go into holiday. So you can just use that excess inventory to walk into holiday. But for vendors, it is a good time to kind of take an evaluation of what Amazon does have on hand. And if they ever bought more overstock at any given moment in time, this is your opportunity to promote through those overstock cases. So now that we have a promotion in place, we have great content, we have enough inventory, it's time to drive some traffic. So during lead up, aka right now, you should always have an evergreen sponsored ad strategy. So this is nothing new. We're going to keep doing what we've always been doing. So sponsored brand, sponsored products, and sponsored display, if it makes sense for your brand. Two strategies that are newer that we've been rolling out to all of our clients are video. So if you guys haven't done it, great time to start out. And custom creative definitely helps increase your conversion for your sponsored brand if you do have either a custom creative or a video. Now's a good time to test out any new copy, any headlines, images. If you've been, waiting on your creative team to give you some great images, this is the time to really start pushing them. If you haven't done your photo shoot yet, time to do that right now, and really begin to slowly adjust your bids higher in preparation to Prime Day. So it is a slow ramp, but you are beginning to prepare for that increased competition. Amazon recommends a 200% increase in your daily spend. I will caveat this by saying it is not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody who's out there in the audience is going to have an absolutely different strategy. I'm not necessarily suggesting 200% to everyone, but the point really is to begin to increase your bids because your competition will be doing so as well, and we want to make sure that we're prepared for that. So beginning to ramp up will get us to Prime Day. So for actual Prime Day, it's game time. So if you're running any deals or coupons, we suggest to create an ad campaign that's going to focus on those ASINs. So whatever ASINs you are promoting are the ASINs you should be advertising. You can change the headline to call this out. You can't say words like Prime Day, you can't say words like deal, so you have to kind of be a little bit creative about what you can say in your headline. So maybe something like featured products or great savings. And this is for your sponsor brands only, obviously. But this is your peak. So you increase your budgets and you prepare for your competition to do the same. Pay extra attention to your campaigns to ensure that you don't run out of budget. And monitor sales. So if you don't oftentimes, check sales throughout the day like we do, like constantly refreshing every 5 minutes, Prime Day is a day to do that. When I was at Amazon, that is how we would spend all of Prime Day. There would be zero work that would actually get done. We would sit in front of our computers in front of, we had the page that updated on a minute basis and essentially just sit there refreshing and just make sure that nothing goes wrong. So the day of Prime Day is really troubleshooting. Are you running out of budget? Are your bids competitive enough? Do you have to make any changes to really sit there and troubleshoot in case something does go wrong? And for the lead out, just like we were focusing on search for the lead up to Prime Day, on the lead out, we're going to focus on display, specifically through remarketing. So we know that add to cart conversion is actually 90% on Prime Day, which means that whatever people are putting into their cart, they're actually buying. But that is dropping to 60% post Prime Day, which obviously makes sense. Whatever you put into your cart and you didn't buy, you kind of forget about. So we want to re-engage these users as much as possible to bring them back to our pages. So through Amazon DSP, you can identify the users who viewed but who have not purchased your products. So you can re-engage the audience to help drive loyalty for the brand that they're already aware of and reach in market shoppers. And the halo effect after Prime Day is pretty strong. So even after Prime Day is over, you do have a high likelihood of converting those users to complete their purchase. So besides driving traffic on Amazon, if you really want to maximize sales and add the cherry on top, adding external traffic is a great idea. At Stella, we offer full digital, not just Amazon. So we know that most brands drive their media to their own D2C most of the time, which makes perfect sense because this is where your margins are. This is where you get to capture consumer data. Another thing that people do for their social is if they're not driving to their D2C, they could have relationships with retailers such as Sephora, also Walgreens, and that's where they're driving to. And we're still happy to play in the sandbox most of the year. But the one time a year when I will encourage your traffic to go to Amazon is Prime Day, because it really is their time to shine. And you shouldn't be competing with any other retailer, certainly not with your D2C for this one day. So 3 ways to do this. Social, I would say, is the number way to do this. Organic, you can boost that through posts. You can boost that through paid. We do recommend to link that to your brand store. So you can add your brand store as your link in bio. You can also add your brand store into your story. What we have here is 2 examples. I have OPI with a story. Enjoy 20% off for Prime Day. They really are driving their social customers to Amazon. And once again, as I mentioned, for social, if you are driving to the brand store, a great opportunity to add a source tag, because then we can actually go back and say to your social team, well, how did that campaign perform? You drove X users, Y of which actually completed the purchase. A second way to do this is email. You have your email CRM from your D2C. You create an email. An example is over on the right-hand side from Julep, in which you can once again link to the brand store, once again create a source tag, and once again really understand how that email campaign performed. And of course, this is year round, but press and PR as important as ever. There will be editorial mentions that link to Amazon, top 10 beauty deals that you must shop on Prime Day. So working with your PR team to see what kind of exposure you can get there. So to begin concluding, as you build out your budgets for Prime Day, so this is for the CFOs in the room, increased performance can really come with increased investment. So here's a quick summary of what to budget for as you guys are really prepping to spend more. Your coupon budget, this you can set, it is capped. Your advertising budget, you will be increasing both across search and display. Your external media, if you choose to do so, and you should also expect your FBA fees to increase, not in the actual percentage, but in terms of the quantity, because you'll be shipping more. That's your 15% commission plus your $2 to $5 of storage fees. Moving on to how we should be measuring success. Surely Prime Day will be busy, but we're usually a lot busier the week after, in which we're recapping and putting together all of our postmortems of what worked and what didn't. So how do we measure success? One thing to keep in mind is a change of dates. So I think that we can almost throw comp sales out the window after our experience with COVID this year. It's really not fair to compare to what happened last year. So even though you're comparing technically to Prime Day of last year, keep in mind that last July, the world was a completely different place. None of us, even owned a face mask at that point in time. It really was a completely different world. So, sure, we can keep it, we can compare it to last July, but keep in mind that, seasonality also a factor. For the sun care brands, and the audience performance may be softer because we're out of peak season. October is not a peak season, just like July. However, for the fragrance brands, we can see higher performance because we're now closer to holiday versus July. So some metrics that we will be looking at to measure success: sales revenue goes without saying, page views and impressions just to see how the traffic increased on your page, branded search to see how searches for your brand have increased. New to brand metric is a super cool metric that you guys get through advertising just to see how many people are new, how many new users are you capturing. Brand analytics is something that a lot of vendors have access to, but sellers now have access to as well. And you guys do get access to market basket analysis as well as some demographics, and you can begin to compare that Prime Day to your non-Prime weeks to kind of see how that changed in your audience. So with the minute that we have left, I do want to end with some predictions. I wish I had a crystal ball. So one thing I can't buy with 2-day Prime shipping, but I think that even with a crystal ball, it would have been very hard to predict what 2020 has brought. So the two questions that I kind of have been asked over and over again is, when is Prime Day? So Amazon has historically picked a Monday to start the deal, sometimes running through Tuesday if it's 2 days, mainly for the reason of Prime shipments arriving by that Friday. So if it's indeed October and it begins on a Monday, the choices are October 5th, 12th, 19th, or 26th. I, like many others, think that it's going to be October 5th. If it is 2 days, it'll be October 5th and 6th, because anything closer will start getting into the territory of holiday. And then speaking of holiday brings us to our second question: how will this affect holiday? So using historical data, Amazon says that Prime Day will be even bigger than Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and its proximity to holiday actually won't jeopardize Prime Day. So Amazon thinks that Prime Day will continue to be larger than holiday, and if anything, it's just going to kick off the holiday season and just start the shopping season earlier. Holiday is 4 weeks this year versus 5, just because there are only 4 Thursdays in November. So with the shorter holiday season, this can help make up for some of that. So just one thing to keep in mind, that if we are participating in Prime Day, making sure that that deal once again is just as strong as Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It is not any lower, because we want to keep that customer experience strong. But with that being said, anything can happen. We know that e-commerce has had record high levels since March, so I am expecting a strong Prime Day. But if there's one thing I've learned in all of my time working either at or with Amazon, is that Amazon never ceases to amaze us. So just when we think we have them all figured out, they will surprise us with something new and unexpected. And I think Prime Day 2020 is no exception. I do want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know we went exactly at time, and there are a bunch of questions that are coming in. So I want to take exactly 5 minutes to answer, because we have so many really great questions. A few of them: when is Prime Day, which we have talked about. What is a source tag? Really great question. So source tag, essentially like a UTM code. It is a tag that you create for your brand store that essentially allows you to link your brand store to wherever you're driving to. For example, if you're driving it from Instagram, you create that source tag to say the word Instagram. It now creates a link. You take that link, you put it into your IG story or your link in bio, and then we're able to track that. Then you go back into your brand analytics in Seller Central or Vendor Central, and you're able to track what that source tag did, so you can relate it back to that campaign that you ran through Instagram. All right, let's see. I will take one more question. Do luxury beauty brands really have to use only 3 bullets? Yes, absolutely. Luxury beauty is a little bit different than mass beauty or any other category out there. So luxury beauty does only get 3 bullet points, and we do suggest that you use all 3 of them fully. Awesome.
Great. I know there are a lot more. I appreciate all of your time, Rena. We did have a few technical issues, but I think they all came through just fine. So that is great. Rena, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone who joined us. We really appreciate it. As Rena said, she has her crystal ball on, but Amazon truly has the capacity to continually surprise us. So please stay tuned, because we know there will be more surprises, and Rena is truly the best interpreter of all things Amazon. We are off for a few weeks of Stellavision as the summer wraps up, but please mark your calendars for our next Stellavision, which will be on Friday, September 11th. We are thrilled to be welcoming our Google client partner, Tatiana Blanca Bertolo, who will be giving an update on everything Google, with a particular look on what's happening in CPG. Again, thank you all for joining us. Thanks so much for Rena for sharing with us, and have a great weekend.